Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds, where we're actually doing a model build. How about that? I don't do this very often, and mostly because others do it a lot better. But I thought it would be fun for me and maybe fun for some others to do kind of a beginner's level build. So this is part 4 of the Revell Mack R model 132. I think it's a model. It's R model 685, and it's a 1973. Near as I can figure. Okay, so all right. So as I said, part 4 today. First of all, welcome back. For those who are returning and to subscribers. Not sure why, but in the last couple days, my subscribers are really going up. Just checked a minute ago, and we're up to 424. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me. Okay, and so yeah, so this is part 4. We're going to do pretty much final assembly and some decaling. I'm not gonna do all of the decaling. Once you learn the process, watching somebody put decals on is, unless you're one of those people who likes to see a disaster happen, which they do, then hey, go for it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do a few of them, and then we'll have a final video, kind of an epilogue and final reveal, as it were. Okay, so as you see, it's laid before you. Much of the assembly is completed. We've got the 5th wheel on, and we got the wheels on. I got the wheels detailed. You see that? See? Can you read that? Union tire. I'm pretty happy with that. They're not perfect, and there's also something else written on here. I don't know, but I highlighted it. So yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention: when you're doing models like this, and even this one's a little bit bad still, but we'll deal with that. Yeah, whether it's a one-piece chassis or you assemble the chassis, what I recommend is that you do that, get it to the point where the wheels are on, and if you're not putting the wheels on, what I suggest is when you've just glued it, once everything's started to set up nicely, put the wheels on temporarily if you can, and then put a weight down on it, so that'll help it to settle in and level out. I did that with this, but it's still a little bit, yeah, what can you do? I think that's probably more a warp in the frame than anything to do with the undercarriage gear. I'm not going to worry about it too much at this point. The other thing you can do, I mean, when you've got like this, is you can test it out right ahead of, if this was one piece pretty much, except for the axles and stuff like that. So the chassis itself was one piece. You can weight it down. If you can measure it up, look it up, and if it looks like it's warped, you can soak it in hot water. This plastic was quite soft, but you might need longer for harder plastics. And so yeah, so when it's fairly soft plastic, just soak it for 5 minutes or so in hot water, and then pull it out, and it'll be more pliable, and then you can put your weight on it, and that'll fix most warps. Unless they're like really severe. So we've got this done, and got that all detailed up nicely. I haven't bothered with the seams of the fuel tanks. if anybody knows how to deal with those other than stripping them down and painting them up again as chrome. I didn't have any luck with that, and I'm happy with this. Plus, I think the way the model builds out, you don't really see them anyways, but we'll see about that. But you know, I'm willing to accept it because if I try to do anything with it, it's gonna be a mess. So, okay, so we've got that, and yeah, and I had some fun with this. Here we go. I took some of the red stripe decals that aren't going to be used, and I put them across the pillow to make a nice little design. And then there's these little Mack emblems. You know, one goes somewhere, or two go somewhere, but they're two extras. So I put it on there, so it's a little Mack truck pillow with a nice pattern. And then the blankets turned down, and then you've got the yada da da da. So yeah, I had fun with that. I think that's kind of cool. And here we again, you know, we saw this last time. You know, the gauges aren't perfect, and as far as I mean, you know, I'm not entirely happy with this, the head cushion thing, but at this point, I think anything I do is going to make it worse. So I'm just going to leave it. And this white paint, I was talking to Peter Oxley about it as well. We both had trouble with white paint. It doesn't matter the manufacturer or the type. You know, I have a titanium white that's from TimberTech. That's a premix airbrush acrylic. You get the Tamiya. I haven't tried the Vallejo, but I doubt it's much different. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with the white, but I'm going to avoid it if I can, for the most part. So, so yeah, I managed to put some contours in that so they look like sheets. You know, not bounce a quarter off Marines type sheets. But yeah, I think it's turned out really well. I'm very happy with it. And you're not going to see a lot of it once it's up inside the cab. But, you know, there it is. I'm happy to have done it. It was good practice. And yeah, I had fun with this. I thought that was kind of brilliant, to be honest with you. Ha! Okay, small minds, eh? Alright, and so, yeah, and then we come to the cab here. I did some detailing on it. I chromed up the door handles and this little latch thing here. You know, I'm pretty happy with the paint job. It was 2 coats of TimberTech Scarlet Red, and then 6 coats of Tamiya Clear Red. And it's not perfect, but I'm pretty happy with it. It is certainly shiny. You know, I made a couple mistakes with the kit. One, not following my own advice and studying the instructions as thoroughly as I should have. So, anyways, this piece that's going to hold the air horns, it's a little bit different color, but I think by the time the air horns are on there, it's too late to get it painted up to match this. And so, anyways, yeah. And I made a mistake here. There's a blemish, but I'm going to be able to deal with that later. And I will show that. I'm waiting on a special set of decals to deal with this. And then here, yeah, this side didn't seem to work out as good. There's a blemish here with the paint. Oh, and I was telling you about those little Mack things that went on the pillow. They go on the side here. I'm not going to do those today. They're fiddly, and they're going to take a little bit of extra work and care. Okay, and so yeah, so and then here we've got the again. I have to detail these up some more, but I painted the silver chrome. These are the signal lights. Excuse me. And then I put a couple of coats of the Tamiya clear orange. and I'll put more on, so that you know, and I might even daub. I've got some of this. Where is it? Yeah, got some of this. I got this for the SR-71 pilots, and it actually shows up fairly flat, even though it's technically not flat and bright. But yeah, I'll put a daub on there, and then once that's dry, I'll add some more clear orange, really make it look like a real light. And yeah, the door handles turned out nice. And oh yeah, and there's going to be a decal that goes on the front here. I'm going to try and do that today. If the decal doesn't work out, I have an alternate method that I'll use. But what I did was this is raised, and so I just scraped off some of this paint, so the decal here is a little better. And we'll also be using some decal soft, and we'll talk about that later too. So this is, as I said, it's a very deep fire truck red. I know it looks kind of orangey here, but you can see the contrast. This is just the scarlet red paint, and this is the scarlet red with all the layers of red clear, and that was rattle can. So you see the difference it makes, and you know, unless you're looking at it with a magnifying glass from most angles, it's going to look beautiful. Happy with that. Way to go, Kev. And I scraped out the inside of the horns here, and put some black paint in there, so it looks like, you know, because they're not shiny on the inside. Yeah. So I did that. What else we got going on here? Okay. And I silvered up this piece and inserted it here. That's going to go in. That's part of what we're going to do today. And here, I hope you can see it. This is like 10 layers of Tamiya yellow, and these are the lights that go on the roof. So they're mostly chrome, but at the front they're lights, and yeah, I hadn't used the clear stuff before, and what I learned was takes lots of coats, and the more coats, the better it looks. Case in point here, move this over. Case in point here, we've got reflectors. Let's see these. Here, might as well turn it this way. We've got those two reflectors on the bottom of the mirrors there. You don't have to. It's better, and actually, it's better not to scrape off the chrome part. This adheres pretty well to it. You can see where I just one coat from before where I did a test. But yeah, you need to be prepared for lots and lots of coats, as many coats as you can put on there without compromising the detail. And then here, unfortunately, the colors don't show up that great, but the red lights, or the brake lights in red clear. What I did was I put in some red clear, and then I daubed in some of the scarlet red, and then I did 3 or 4 more coats of red clear. And then on top of that, you can't tell the contrast very well with my camera, but that's the yellow clear for the turn signals, and these we have to put on today as well. I detailed up here. I silver painted the headlamps, and I ran the X-Acto knife down the because even a chrome grill, there's spaces in between. So I ran the knife down the center parts and just dropped some panel liner in there. And what you see on the camera there is actually more than what you see when you actually look at it. So, there you go. Not upset with that at all. Okay, so we set these aside for later. Okay, so we're almost ready to get started here. There were just one or two things that I wanted to, two small tips along the lines of the instructions. As I've said in this series, and I say in all my videos, it's best to, it's always best to follow the instructions step by step. But as you gain experience, and sometimes make mistakes, or sometimes see that the instructions are in error, you might want to jump ahead and do something and set it aside, as I said before. And it's not so much for something like this. It's such a simple kit, but especially for more complex kits, when I'm finished a step, I give it the check mark. That's a lame check mark, isn't it? It's upside down. So to let me know as I flip through that this is done. And if I've done something ahead of time and then have to go back, then I put an arrow like that, meaning but you're done here, but you do have to go back for something else. So I haven't done that here because it's not that complicated, and it does seem like I've bounced around a bit, but I've bounced around a bit for good reasons, and that's when you're pre-painting. When you're pre-painting, there's all sorts of different funky stuff that goes on. So some people assemble their models completely, and then they paint them, which is fine for some kinds of models. Especially if they're, like one basic color, like olive drab or something like that. But I've always found that, especially for the, for smaller pieces and so on and so forth, it's better to paint them up first, and so then you need a reminder to go back and put them on. Okay, so. Alright, so yeah, so that's it. So here we are at this step. We've already done the we put the mud flaps on and decaled them up. And yeah, there we go. So they're just fine. And so now next is to put the brake lights on. Okay, set that aside. And once again, where are we here? Other side. Okay. I haven't quite decided yet whether to do red with this decaling or red with this decaling, and it may depend on if I wreck some decals. I like elements of both of them, but we'll have to see. I can think about that at the same time as I am working here, believe it or not. Okay, so again, I know the light causes glare, but I apologize. I need it. And you know, this is certainly a if beginners haven't already heard the term, it's a weekender kit. You know, it's a kit that you can you know, if I mean it's white plastic, so you're going to want to do some kind of painting on it, I would think. But most of it can be rattle canned. So that you know, that's not too complex. And so get this out of the way. And you know, that doesn't take very long. And my advice for that, along with all of the when it comes to painting in general, is, you know, you don't want too much too fast. And you know, I mean, if you put, you know, if you don't have enough paint, you can always add some more. But it gets complicated if you need to take paint off or take it away. I mean, it can be done, but, well, not after it's cured or dried. Okay, and so here, these two parts go on here, and it's always good to have two bare surfaces when you're cementing stuff, but you know, that's not always fun or convenient or whatever the case may be, as is in this case. So what you need a cement like this, or the Tamiya regular, or the Mr. Hobby. What is it? I'm nearly out of my Mr. Hobby. Mr. Cement Deluxe. And these are much thicker. So the Tamiya extra thin, it won't bond to painted surfaces, so you have to make sure your surfaces are quite clear. So, but here I'm going to take my chances with the Revell and see where we go with it. I had this problem earlier. I think the cement's getting low, so it's drying up in the dispenser wand here. Just pause while I get this fixed. And as usual with these things, when you fix it, it just gushed all out. So, anyways, we've dealt with that. So, and I'm going to put it here in the pins, because again we have chrome, or simulated chrome, which we want to put on with our tweezers. That's funny, eh? Okay, we won't put it on with our tweezers. We'll put it on with our finger. Get on there. And you want to make sure you get the yellow part up. Press it down, make sure it's flush. And make sure they're straight. And then make sure they're straight again. There we go. Okay. right, and okay, so that's that. So we can tick this off. Yay, done. Okay, and we've already put the wheels on. We've already done this and this and this, and we've already done this and this. We've already done that. And okay, now here we go. Fun part. We'll get some chrome to put in and some clear parts to put in. Alright, and so for clear parts, there was one contact point here, but they've done it very nicely, so should be able to just sand that off without it looking ugly. Because yeah, you don't want to mess with clear parts very much. You want to, yeah. Okay, and so here we go. As I mentioned, we're going to need some of this stuff. And one of these. Alright, and so here we're going to, again, very carefully, no, not with that, very carefully. You know where I get that from? Elmer Fudd. Be very careful. Hunting the wabbits. Yeah, what's up, Doc? What a maroon. What an ignoramus. Bugs was great. Okay, come on. Don't give me a hard time. There we go. Okay. Okay, and guess what? I'm not going to throw these little clear pieces away. Can you guess why? What do they look like? They look like they could be like lamps. So, I'm going to put them there. That might or might not work. It might just be a mad scientist idea on my part. There we go. And you want to take things off bit by bit. Okay, if you try and cut things off all at once, again, that's a recipe for disaster. This is actually turning into a bit of a mess, but I don't think it's going to matter, because where it goes, you're not going to see this. And that's part of engineering a good model kit. I mean, you got to have contact points, but it's where the contact points are that are important. Or aren't, for that matter. Okay. Alright. Okay, so here we go. Alright, now, since, right, just like we do at the service station, we polish up the windscreen. Check the oil. Okay, so there we go. Alright. Alright, this will go there. This goes upside down, and where the little flange is, that goes in at the top. So let's see how it goes. Perfect. Okay, there it is. There's our dry fit. Can you see it there? Come on, Steve, get it right. There you go. Okay, so that's good. So also what we find out here is we find out where the contact points are, and so we can shave those down. So the I use clear PVA. As far as I know, white, or are you allowed to say that? White PVA. White PVA dries clear anyways, but I like the clear stuff because I bought it and now I use it. Yeah. You can also get specific glues, you know, hobby glues specifically for clear parts. I don't know. If you want to do that, that's okay. I find this is just works out great. So I'm going to pause here while I trim this up a bit and get her ready for installation. Okay, so we've scraped those areas down. I don't know if you can see them there. See where it's whiter. There, and up top, on the sides. You want to make sure to brush out any little Klingons or noogies. Oh, and I just noticed they got the door buttons here, so I'll have to, that can go on last, but yeah, I'll have to touch those with, no, maybe not. Maybe that's, oh, okay, not going to worry about it. Okay, so here we are. We're pretty much done here for now with this. Alright, so, okay, and so the tip here, I mean, obviously you gotta shake your glue. This stuff doesn't matter, but anyways. It's like with a mechanic. Mechanic is done, puts the hood down, slams the hood down, and wipes the top of the hood there, where the hand touched. Okay? If your mechanic doesn't do that, get another mechanic. Anyways, okay, that's all I got. That's the only automotive advice I can give you. Okay, and I've heard that from more than one professional mechanic, including my father. Okay, so we're not gonna. Here's the next tip. Okay, move this up. We're not gonna in here. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take a toothpick. Because of the size, because of what we're doing here, I'm going to use, what I've done is I've snipped off the end, the pointy end, so we have just a slightly offset a flat end. Now, we also have a slightly pointy end here that we can use. So it's a double-barreled weapon, as it were. Oops. Am I allowed to say that when kids might watch? Anyways. Okay, so here's what we do. Not over the model kit, because if you make a mistake, it's going to go blue. Or even worse, splorch. Splorch is the worst. Okay, and so yeah, you have to be careful here with this. And what I do is I start here, work up. Inside here, it doesn't matter that much. You just want to make sure you get it where it's going, or where you want it to go. You could always use a brush if you like cleaning brushes. It's not a big deal. As far as I know, PVA is almost always water soluble. Okay, now here this gets a little more tricky because we don't want any of that stuff leaking out into the front. So we get inside here like this. There we go. And we hold it up so it's not and we have excess here, so we'll just spread her around real nice. Okay, wipe that off so it doesn't cake up or accumulate too much. Okay, again, this goes at the top. We get our trusty Okay, now I'm going to stick my finger in here, but not anywhere near where it's glued. Now this is going to take some manipulation, so let's get her in here. Now, we do have a bit of ooginess that leaked out here, so let's take care of that.